Hey guys, my name is Nathan Masters with Brick System Brothers. Today's video is an introduction to LEGO Digital Designer. Now if you've been around our channel long enough, you know that I did one of these a while back, and I might possibly do another one in the future, so check that out up there if I put a link in. But for now, this is just to kind of catch everybody up to the current version of Digital Designer, and look at kind of the two main building modes, and then later in this series I'm actually going to look at some pretty interesting stuff you can do with the program that I've actually addressed in a lot of the comments on the original video. So that one's been up for a while, ended up answering a bunch of questions, and that's kind of what led me to work on a new tutorial, just completely new video about the whole thing, and then address a lot of those specific questions in a future couple videos. The next one's out on the channel. So all together here in a little series, maybe 4 or 5 videos depending on what I want to cover. This one we're going to look at actually installing the building platform and where it comes from. It's officially put out by LEGO, so this is their official website. And right here we can see you can download version 4.3.10, or actually 0.11 is 10 is the one that they just dropped. And this is all copyrighted about 2012, so this is already 7 or 8 years old. But you can still download it, it's just not supported. So some of the information's out of date. One of the things I will note is that our color tags are all broken for some reason, but you can still use it. So depending on what operating system you have, you'll either download from Mac or Windows. And when you do that and open it up, you'll find something that looks like this. And this is where usually you would connect the program to your internet connection. Originally this was able to order all the pieces that you used in your creation. You could actually order it as a custom set from LEGO. That was only up for a couple of years before they dropped it. I think it was just too much resources for them to use. And now you can still use the digital program, but it is not connected in any way to resources from the LEGO group. So purely a digital builder, really great for practicing. And Digital Designer, in my opinion, is a really good one to start with before you maybe try out Studio or Mechabricks or some of the other ones out there that are supported. I just think the user interface is really intuitive and a good place to start. So we want to run LDD in offline mode. Okay, why not? It'll launch it up for you, and I always have to do this on my computer. It is a little bit offset to my window, but let's choose a build mode first. So there's 3 build modes. We can choose regular, Mindstorms, or extended build mode. Let's start with regular and see what that has to offer, and I'll do a free build. So before I do anything else, I'm just going to click the full screen, and that'll fix that alignment properly. And yeah, let's just look around our interface here and see what we have. We can filter pieces by color, which I really try to do this as often as possible, because right now if you just open a piece type, it's going to show you all of the colors that you can use that piece type for. We can really narrow this down by selecting just one color to look at, and now we have just one of each piece type in that specific color. The other really nice thing about using the color filter is you can come in here and build your model all that you want with this color, and then if you decide you want some of this stuff in a different color later, you can simply use the paint tool and recolor it right here in place. And there's no need to really go in here and switch around between all the colors. It's much faster to just use the paint tool and switch that out to your heart's content. So yeah, even before I've done a whole lot, you can see that the interface is pretty simple and easy to use. We have options to sort everything out by color, like I mentioned, and here in regular mode there's 55 colors to choose from, so a pretty good cross section of the LEGO palette. But the really helpful option is to sort by piece type. So each one of these little tiles is a certain piece type. Some of the early ones are pretty intuitive and distinctive, so our brick types, that's pretty straightforward. Let's change this color to get a little better view. Let's go back to red. So you know, your 1x1, 1x2, all of your rectangular shapes of bricks, even some of the larger bases from the old days. I think this is like a 12x24 brick or something like that. Let's get that out of there. So yeah, bricks, round bricks, even our toothed 2x2 is in there. If we jump down here a little bit, we can see our wall elements, and this is where it starts to get a little less defined. because this piece that they've used for the thumbnail, well, that's pretty recognizable. It's actually not an option for red, or was it? Did I just miss it somewhere? Anyways, fences, that kind of thing, all available in here. Or our plates, modified plates. So you can see they've chosen to put the tile in the modified plate category instead of the plate category. So at some point you have to draw divisions and distinctions for this to work that maybe you don't agree with that division. For example, I think I would put the tile in the plates category instead of the modified plates category. But once you learn where it's at and you practice with the program a little bit, you'll become pretty familiar with where things are. So yeah, gear pieces, pretty straightforward. Doors, yeah, and this is where maybe some of the design is lacking. Here in our door category, we can see our 1x2 wall element, which is actually used for the thumbnail in a different category, like fences. So, you know, this piece really should be over here in this group, but it's not. So stuff like that is maybe why you would not want to use LEGO Digital Designer as much, and look at using something else like Studio that is supported. And if you do want to pursue an updated, supported, you know, something where the feedback is actually going to a developer team instead of just out into the void, Studio is originally developed by the Bricklink team, now owned by the LEGO Group, and really similar in terms of capabilities, but like I said, updated, supported, it's current. Check that out. I have done a separate video about Studio on this channel, so go look at that. Here today we're just going to focus on LDD. Alright, so that is the basics of this regular build mode, which is denoted by the blue stripe across the top. Let's clear all this out and look at the welcome screen again. Do not save. The other two modes here, Mindstorms and Extended, I'm just going to look at the Extended mode and compare that to the original regular build mode. So let's do a free build here and see what we got. So like I mentioned, when we sort by color, in the previous one with the blue stripe, there were only 55 colors to choose from. Here with the black stripe and extended mode, there's now 78 total colors to choose from. A few more in the solid group, but most of these coming from this legacy category. And down in the legacy category are some of the more interesting colors that LEGO has produced, but didn't really see that long of a production run. So some of these colors like sand red that were in and out only for a couple years, we haven't seen since. Really cool pieces to use. And in extended mode, it doesn't matter whether they were actually existing as a piece or not. You can pretty much use any and all of the LEGO element molds that have been in production in this color. So in reality, sand red was only produced in a few of these brick types, like the 1x2 and the 2x4. I know those were both available in sand red at some point, but these other type of pieces like a 1x3x5 wall panel, this was never ever produced in sand red. So as a physical piece, you would never see this sand red element, but you can still use it in the extended mode of Digital Designer. So yeah, if you're building purely for fun and purely to have a digital model and you want to see how these colors would look in a digital model, the extended mode is really good for using that, because basically it takes all those limits off and you can use the full range of the LEGO elements produced up to the point where the software stopped being supported, and the LEGO colors produced. So LEGO colors cover a bigger range. We've actually seen several new elements introduced since this stopped being supported. That's another reason to go back and look at other digital builders. But colors, I think we have a pretty good coverage here, including our teal color, which has actually been revived, I think, in 2018. So teal now kind of back into the main color group currently, but Digital Designer has been unsupported for so long that it was actually still in the legacy group when they put out version 4.3.11, which is what I'm using now. And if you want to see all that info, you can go up here to help it about and see. Yeah, 4.3.11, brick version 7.7.7. All of this info here can be found. I did mention our color tags, and here's, you can see that if you hover over the tiles, it should be telling you the actual name of the color. So this would be black, this would be dark orange, this would be purple, but it's having an issue here where it's trying to find something in the database, the original code for the program, and it's not there, or the call is broken, so it just has this material and the question marks. At some point, maybe more of this program will be breaking down, but at least this is still usable. You can use the color of the tile to kind of tell what you're looking at here, and yeah, read it with that. So extended mode is definitely what I would probably use for the most part. It offers the largest combination of element types and piece colors. Let's go back, do not save. In our regular digital designer, some of these colors are actually really limited with what's actually available to build with. So even to the point where at some point this was all that the LEGO group had to offer in this color, but in the subsequent years since this has been put out, there's way more pieces available, even in these uncommon colors. Another reason to use extended mode, and at the root of it, another reason to use a different digital builder. But if you really want to use digital designer, let's stay here and see what we can do. So I'm going to jump over to extended mode, free build. One more note before I get started. Let's look down here at these bottom four. The first one with the question mark is friends elements and helmet elements, where it just has this tiny peg that fits into a helmet or a hairpiece. The second question mark is a single piece, an old lamp piece from the train sets. This one here looks like some creature elements, so this would be a dino piece. This one maybe from the Ninjago snake people, snake creatures. So just two elements in that category. And the last question mark brick is a rubber tire element, maybe from some of the Technic motorcycles. So yeah, now that you know what's in there, I guess they just didn't take the time to develop a thumbnail tile image for these types of pieces, and I don't really see why they would, because one or two bricks in a category. Why didn't they just put it back in some of these? But I don't know. Anyways, yeah, let's do a little mini build just for fun and see what we can come up with. My original video tutorial, I've decided to build a little car from the Town Plan set 2008. Followed those instructions for that, but this time I'm just going to kind of build off the cuff. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, maybe do a car again. I think that's a good place to start. And yeah, just see what we can come up with for a build tutorial. And that's how I'm kind of going to introduce these tools and techniques, is just as they come up naturally during the build. Let's search car. What does that give us? Not much. How about chassis? Yeah, here we go. That's what I wanted. Let's use this little guy here. It's kind of an interesting chassis piece. We'll close that out. Close these out. Alright, so this is the base piece for the build. If I want this to be centered on the build screen, it doesn't matter where I place it on the floor here. I just have to right click and that centers it up for me. And then I can use that right mouse button again and hold it down. Drag that around to rotate, pan. Zoom is the scroll wheel, of course, and you can actually accomplish all of this with the buttons on the screen as well. But that's a little more clunky. I prefer to use the mouse. So there is some pretty decent functionality in the program still, even though it's not supported, if you want to be using that. So what do we've got for connection points here? These little areas look like they would make pretty good places to put an axle. So let's jump into these pieces, see what we can find. Or, you know, just use a search again. Axle. Not there, not there, not there. Here's some Technic ones. I think I want to search chassis again. That had some pretty good results. There's that one with the axles built in. Here's what I'm looking for. Alright. So yeah, let's just use this piece right here. And we can turn it around to face a different direction with the arrow keys. So I'm going to use the arrow keys for that. You can change your preferences in this program as well, but I think sticking with the arrow keys is a good method. And it will probably try to put it on the top. So I'm just going to go down here to the bottom and put that down underneath, like so. Now, if you do want to put pieces with different colors in the model, you can change the color from this palette down here to dark gray, to light gray, but I think a better way to do that is to leave your build selection over here as all one color, and then change the pieces on the actual model with the paint tool. Because the paint tool is A, it's faster, and then B, it will show you what colors this piece is available in. It should anyways. No, we're in extended edition, so that doesn't. So we can just choose which color we want to paint it from up here. I'd like these to be in light gray, so I'll just click, and now that's done. We'll go back to our regular selection tool. So those have been painted, and let's put on those rims while we're at it. I think this is the one that I'm going to use. We'll zoom all the way in here. Nope, I'm mistaken. Better use this guy. Two, three, four. Let's paint these two. How about we make these white? Alright, that's done. And instead of having a color dedicated to rubber pieces, I think the actual rubber tire elements are all available in this black. So if it is a tire, it will be in this black color. So the very basics of our car are pretty much done at this point. We have our original chassis, two of these axles, and our rims and tires. These can all be painted different colors, whatever you want. I'm actually going to change our chassis piece to dark red. Why not? That's done. Yeah, so regular mode Digital Designer I don't think would have this piece in dark red, but extended mode, why? Yeah, definitely can use it. Let's see, how simple can I make this car? Let's change this over to dark red while we're at it, because I think most of the pieces in this car are going to be dark red now. We'll put on a door here, probably up here closer to the front, and probably want to add in some rims. So I think using an arch piece for this would work out pretty good. Right there. And where did that go? Right there. So how does that line up on our rubber? Yeah, that's not too bad. Could hang out a little farther, but it's alright. On the front, I'm probably not going to be able to do that because I have this door in the way now. So let's just use an inverted slope. And if you're wondering just where you're going to be able to find all these pieces, my best advice is to just practice with the program and get to know it, and you'll be able to find pieces pretty quickly after you use this for a couple days or a couple times, however often that happens. Alright, I've changed my mind about the doors. I'm going to end up putting those a little higher up, and I now want to put in 2 more of these arch pieces. So instead of going back and finding it over here, I'm just going to use the clone tool, add those in here and here, and now let's put our doors back in up top. How clunky is that going to look? Yeah, I don't like that. Alright, doors are out. We'll see you guys later. And for our front here, let's use some studs not on top. Let's use this 1x2 here. Is that the best option? That'll work. Alright, so that gives me a surface on the front here to add the grille and headlights. I'll do that shortly. I think I'll do the same thing on the back. and then we can work on both of those concurrently. Now on our side, what do I want to use instead of doors? Let's just put in those panels that we were talking about earlier. No, I don't want to do the panels actually. I want to do something with a little more texture. So aside from our studded bricks, we can also find textured bricks here. We'll spin this one so the texture is facing the same way. And now let's paint these. Let's paint them. What goes good with dark red? How about dark tan? That would look pretty good. So yeah, a little bit of surface detail on here. Our minifig is obviously going to fit down in this little square, but now that we have these pieces in instead of the doors, I think at some point we're going to run into a problem with the arms. So let's add in a minifig right now and see if that issue is going to arise. Instead of searching all the way through here, I'm just going to do the search bar again. Legs, open the minifig tab, and here we have our standard legs. Let's change the color to dark blue. Man, peg leg, is that all we got? Surely there's regular Lego leg pieces. Let's try pants instead. Nope, pants is not gonna do it. How about just a leg? There's the peg one. I think I'm gonna have to do it without the filter. All the way down here. There's the mini ones. Let's just put those to the side for now. Not seeing too much else. Man, minifig category. Here they are. Mini lower part. Interesting design choice. So let's just put that right there. Get rid of the mini ones. We're not going to use that. And off we go to torso land. Let's use our search. Torso. Skeleton torso there. Alright, based on this leg being named minifig lower part, I'm going to search upper. And sure enough, we have the mini upper part here. Although the whole thing is white with white gloves, I don't think I can really change that color at all. Yeah, has racing gloves now. Good enough for me. And we need a head. So printed head. Gonna be yellow. Actually, let's just turn off the color filter. Can't do it. Narrow this down by searching head. There's a blank yellow head. Now we'll go back here and let's just use dark brown. Dark orange, why not? And we'll search hair, minifig tab, and look at all these options for hair. Harry Potter? No. It's actually not as many as I thought. Let's get rid of the hair filter. I'd rather have something else. Yeah, there's a few more in here. Our standard hairpiece. Like that. Alright, there is our test driver. Now I'm going to have to bend these legs so that it can sit down in here. For that we'll use our hinge tool. So our hinge tool will actually allow us to change the individual legs, which is nice. And we can select 45-degree increments here with the little buttons. So this one will put it at 45 degrees, this one will put it at 90, and that way it will just snap to an automatic one. If we want to make fine-tuning adjustments, we can use the arm here, of course. We can also click and drag around the minifig with the green arrows. But if we are looking to get to an increment of 45, we can use these buttons. So that's sorted there. Now our minifig is in a seated position. To select the whole thing, I'm going to just drag a box around him. And now we have the whole minifig we can drag around. Another way to do that is to use the control button, but you have to do significantly more clicking here. I think all of those are enough to grab it and move it around. Alright, so now, moment of truth, we're going to try setting it down in here. If it's up on this raised part of the chassis, it seems to do fine, but it doesn't want to sit down in the bottom part below because its arms are running into those side pieces that I just put in. So what that tells me is I need to raise up that center portion of 2x2 pieces by about 2 plates. Alright, back to this here. We can close this tab automatically without scrolling all the way back up by just clicking that. And that will actually close however many tabs you have open all at once. Collapse the tabs. We want some plates, so let's go to our plates here. 2x2 is the size we need to fit in that hole. Let's go ahead and put one more in to fill that up. And now select our minifig again, place it in position. Let's actually put it a little offset by 1 piece. And now our arms are plenty high enough to fit into the little car. Alright, what's next? Let's add in steering wheel right here. That's pretty straightforward. Instead of all dark red, well, let's just put it in and use our paint tool. Paint, black, come on. There we go. Like that. That's painted. Done and done. And eventually we'll need a windshield. So let's just pull that out right now. Windshield. Nope. Screen. Of course, there it is. We'll use this funny little one here. And I'm going to set it off to the side so I can grab it later. Let's close that search. Alright, so what else do I need to do for the car? Let's build it up by a couple of plates. Let's go back to our dark red here. By these arms, I'm actually going to add in these panels. Let's use our 1x4 panel. Right there. And right there. And that gives us room for the arms to sit comfortably in place. Actually, scratch the panels. I want to use these window elements, but I want them in clear. Let's use this window. So let's put some windows in here. Not quite as tall as I'd like. So I think I'm going to actually bump this up by a plate. In order for that to still work with the arms, I'm going to have to raise those arms up just a tad. Like that. There it is. Alright, arms are up out of the way. Whoops. Back to regular here. Let's add those little plates in to get that raised up just enough. I think we can go all the way across, 1x8. Now let's see if those windows will still fit. Doesn't look like they will. Nope, still conflicts with the arm. We'll have to raise that up even further. Looks like he's lost control of the vehicle now, unfortunately. But that's what I want for my windows, so we're going to stick with that. We use the clone tool instead of going all the way back, and that will just copy what we already have. And yeah, there's our basic windows added in. Now I can put the windshield up front here. That looks a little funny. Let's get these out of the way. Move this all back by 1. Bump these up by 1. And that looks a little bit better now. Delete here and here. Okay, not bad. How am I going to finish out the back? I think I want to add some separation in here with a 1x1 post. So we'll just build that up by 2 bricks. Like that. And now we have room on the back for a slanted windshield. Let's now add in a plate, 1x4, and that windshield piece. We'll use the paint tool again. Select clear and change that. So there is the basic window and windshields of the car. How long is this top? 2, 4, 6. Alright, that's a pretty good size. We actually have the perfect topper now. I'm going to search 4x6 just to get a size in here. And let's look around our different categories and see if I can find the piece that I have in mind. Don't see it right off the bat. There it is. In the steering wheel, part section, 4x6 topper. Just right. So what that tells me is the hood piece that I'm probably going to use is also in the steering wheel. So let's leave that open, close our search. And the hood piece, could use this one. That's interesting. Huh. Unfortunately, a little too late to use that now. I'd actually rather use 4x4. This one right here. That's a little awkward. Let's change out these plates for 1x6s. So we're going to get those out of the way. Now you'll notice that this whole section here is just floating. In reality, that wouldn't work very well, but in Digital Designer, once an element's been placed, it's kind of been placed for good, and it will remain there until you move it. That works out great for us right now because now I can just slip these 1x6 plates into that gap right where I want it. Now our hood element is down by 1 more plate. That looks a little better. I'm going to have to change this piece up front to stick out a little bit more to where it actually looks somewhat realistic, but that's not too difficult. So let's work on that now. We're going to be building about a 2x4 size, and I'm actually going to be putting it on sideways on the car. So it will look something like that. I think I can just build it in place actually. Let's get some headlights going here with our slope pieces. We'll use these little cheese slopes. And we're going to end up painting these clear. So these will be the ones that I paint clear. I'm going to put 2 more in place to leave dark red. And then the rest of our grill we can put on a license plate or a grill or something like that. For now, let's just put on a regular 2x2 plate and 2 grill elements like this. Alright, now let's do some paint work. I want these headlights to be transparent, and I want the grill piece to be metallic silver. Like that. So there's the front. That doesn't look half bad. What can we do for the rear? This doesn't really hang over as much, so I'm gonna have to do something. Let's see. Instead of this 1x2 piece, I think I'm going to use some 1x1 headlight bricks. And this piece is interesting. It has some interesting properties. I've actually talked about this piece in a HUTAP episode, but for now, you just need to know that it allows something to be placed in a little bit offset or back from the surface. So let's do a 1x2 tile, and this will be our back license plate. So let's go back to our paint tool. We'll make it white, let's see if there's anything we can put on for decoration. Yeah, there's a couple options here. Let's use this plate tile. Now it seems like we're upside down. Alright, so you might be asking how I did that. Well, it's all built into our paint tool here. So let's zoom in on this section right up at the top. And we'll actually center it on this plate. So under your paint decoration tool, we have actually three options. The one I've been using throughout this whole video is the actual color one, where we can go and change the color of the piece itself to white or black or any of these options. So the first thing I did was change this plate into a white piece. After that, I came over here to the decoration tool, and this is what will give you the option to put some printing on the piece. So we click on the piece that we want to decorate, in this case the license plate, and it pulls up the options that we have from our LEGO database. Definitely not a complete selection here either, but at least this one would be a pretty decent license plate, PA770. I don't know what set this is from, but it works in this case. So we'll put that on the back instead of a tail light or anything like that. So yeah, let's recenter the car on this piece down here. To recenter it on the whole model, I'll use this piece right here, and that will bring the whole model back to the center. And yeah, kind of a weird looking little car. In fact, the one thing I'm going to change after I fix this pillar, come on, I'm actually going to switch the windshields out because I think the flat one would look better on the back and the sloped one would look better on the front. Yeah, that's a little better. What do you guys think? I think I'd rather drive this car than the other one. I don't know if this car would be my first pick in any case, but yeah, this section of the series is getting a little bit long, but I did want to introduce some of the basic functions of Digital Designer. The next videos here in the playlist, also to be found on our channel, will kind of focus on some other things you can do with this program. There's actually ways to load up completed LEGO sets right into Digital Designer and build off of those, do your add-ons and all that stuff, and maybe some other functionality that's a little more niche. Just talk about that a little bit in further videos. So I'll end it for here, just building a quick car. We'll talk about, I guess, another video, the building instructions and viewing and that kind of thing, and again, loading up those external models and using that in Digital Designer. To close this video out, I'm going to save it, and we'll call this example car. And I've got my own dedicated folder for these already, so we'll just save that there. And now, when we go back to our home screen, it is waiting for you to open again and build, continue working on, or export it, or anything like that. You'll want to use this if you're looking for something that you've worked on recently, and if it doesn't show up here, you can open it from the file. But loading it back up, piece of cake, and you can pick up right where you left off if you didn't finish, or if you just want to go back and look at some of your older models. So thanks for watching, guys. Stick around for this playlist. We'll look at some more things you can do with this program. And of course, if you like this kind of video, we have all kinds of LEGO content on Brick System Brothers, not just digital building. You know, we've done some reviews, we've done some mocks, pretty much anything you can think of related to LEGO. We're trying to cover a little bit of everything on our channel. So thanks for checking this out and following along. Hopefully you got something out of it. And if you didn't see what you're looking for, stick around. I'll probably cover it coming up. Bye.